Hi, everyone. I'm back here with Nick Cunner, and we're going to be digging into some technical recommendations
Yes.
on thinking
WebDirect.
thinking WebDirect.
Yes.
So what I'm asking Nick is, make me a better developer. So once again, I'm pretending that, well, I need the help. I mean, first thing they always say as an instructor is never stop learning. So whenever I'm around Nick, I always learn new things. So how do we think WebDirect?
Thinking WebDirect, so you have to make the thing extremely light.
Okay.
It's like I own a 1980 Corvette with a iron heavy cast iron engine and stuff like that of the 1980, and so now we have those aluminum alloy and stuff. Okay, we need to get to the aluminum alloy very light.
So how do we?
It's still an engine, and actually it's more performant, than the other one. But we need to go there. So how we go there? We have. The design, what we call the design, there's two parts: the architecture of the schema and the layout and the UI UX. Okay, so let's talk about the schema. Okay? It's not because I say light, doesn't mean it's poor.
Okay.
Light is not poor. Light is the same complexity, the same elaboration. You can have complex articulation and complex interaction, stuff like that. But you need to use the right rule, the right technique for each thing you want to achieve.
Okay.
So rules that we should all follow.
Okay.
It's not proper to WebDirect. The problem is FileMaker Client Pro. It's an exemplar of forgiveness.
It's an example of forgiveness.
Yes. It will forgive your sin. It will forgive your mistakes. It will forgive everything. And, I saw crazy things like using copy and paste and stuff like that. But it was working.
Yeah.
Slow to death, but it was working. So FileMaker WebDirect, there's no mercy.
No mercy.
No mercy here. If you do the right way, it will work. You don't do, it won't work. But it doesn't mean it's complicated.
Okay.
You need to go down and eliminate everything that is not necessary.
Okay.
Because every single thing, every single bite of thing you can do to improve performance won't have a big incidence when one client accesses the server and the client are doing 80% of But when you do something that a little bite on the server, when you have 10 person using the same machine, so the small thing become 10 times bigger.
Right.
Because those 10 people will get advantage of this little thing you did. So every single little thing you can do becomes gargantuan on WebDirect. Very important. Okay. So sometimes you say, I don't care. I have this calculation. It's nasty. I leave it because it doesn't make a big deal of difference. Yes, it will. That is very important. After that, what you need to do is you need to forget what we do sometime, because sometimes we don't want to do the right thing because it's more time and we need. So it's what I call the data movements. When you move data, what movement is replace? It's relookup, set field in loops and stuff. This is moving data. Okay. You move data. When you replace, you take something and forget about this. Forget it. This is terrible, because on Pro, if you do a replace on 2,000 record on Pro on server, you can go grab a coffee. You have the progress bar. Go, okay. Because the server is doing nothing, the Pro is doing nothing, and you have a little bit like that, at a time. So what we do, we perform script on server.
And that is
instant.
Right.
Yeah, it's instant. But if you have everything else perform on server, you have the replacement being on performance server, the relationship mapping, the logic, everything on server. That makes a big difference. So your server is overloaded, and then it starts to collapse. Okay? So forget about this. There's other ways than doing a bunch of replace and stuff. You can use those things, but very, very wisely and very little. Like, you can do a replace when you will have 10 records, or let's say 100 records. But if you have 2,000 or 25,000 records, you do a replace, and you have this on, for example, a trigger that everybody will trigger when you do a commit, for example. Oh my freaking god! Oh, you're gone. Your server is wrong. Makes sense, right? It's when
No, absolutely.
so after that, you have other things that can be very dangerous, like you have a bunch of pesos, for example, from the pro client guys. They have a bunch of pesos and stuff like that, and you have schedule script, crazy schedule script. Like I have an example recently. A schedule script was performed every 2 minutes, and the script required 20 minutes to perform. And people were calling me, okay, our server is collapsing. I said, yeah, the server is collapsing. Of course it's collapsing. You piling the thing. So those techniques, you absolutely need to forget about those things. Maybe it's time for you as a developer to learn the next level.
Okay.
Okay. How you do that? You go to the help of FileMaker, you go to the function and you start to browse. You start to, walk through the functions. And then start to say, oh, I have a function doing this. Oh, I have a function doing that. So explore also to build your own custom function. It makes a big difference, a little calculation that the sum of something minus the sum of something else made by a custom function makes a big deal, is difference. Okay, because you don't use the same engine of the Draco of FileMaker. So you go deep. When you use a custom function, you use the main core, down deep in the software, where it's way faster than the peripheral, like the script and stuff. That's why script is slow. Script's slow because it's on peripheral, it's outside, it's on top of the thing, right? So it's not in the core. The schema, the logic, calculation is in the core. So sometimes I'm bringing thing and I'm doing a let statement. You saw my coding. You saw that I'm using let a lot. I have example I can show you later where I have something like 200 rows in the calculation, right? And it's fast like a snap because I'm using the schema. I'm not using the scripts to filter, to update, because you use the let function. This is very important. It's time to you to learn the let function.
So you trigger these functions with a, but you trigger them with a script.
No,
right?
no.
You're actually writing a calculation.
That's a way. For example, that's a very small trick. Okay, and I'm happy to share with you the trick. So this is a good lesson how to optimize your code. Okay, you have a date of birth. You want to calculate the age. If you want to calculate the age, it has to be constantly updated. Right? Because the next day
every day it's going to be up to date.
Yeah. Okay. So how you do that? Without to slow down your solution with having an unstored calc, because unstored calc, forget it about unstored calc on WebDirect. You need to eliminate all your unstored calc at all. No unstored calc. That is driving down. So how you eliminate this date of birth age calculation? You have on the side, on the table, you have a current date field, which is just a field, date field. Every day, at midnight and 1 minute, you have a schedule script, a small one, very small. Go there, replace.
Right.
It's very light. This is the server. You won't even see that on the server. You won't even see a dent on the activity because I'm doing very small things, right? So when you do that, when you update, when you replace a date, what is doing? It's triggering all the auto entry calc. Right. Auto enter calc.
But you controlled it. And you initiate it with a script. It was a script that was on the.
But yes, but the logic is made with the script is doing absolutely nothing. It's going somewhere and replace. Right. That's what the script is. It's two rows.
But the script allows us to control the time and the place of the execution.
The server is doing that. The schedule.
Well, with the SASE.
Okay. Yeah. The SASE. The server. So when you do that, you trigger the auto entry calc and you. Age is calculated every day because it won't change during 23 hours and 59 minutes. It won't change, and you can optimize even better. Today, it's my birthday. That's why I'm talking about this because it's my birthday. Okay, I'm 18 years old, and plus some, and so it's my birthday. So my age will change today. So if you want to optimize your code, let's say you have 200,000 contacts and you want to optimize only the people with the age changing today. Right. So you select the people with date of birth, the day and the month of today, and you replace those people.
Or just
so you optimize the code.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of select everything, replace. Okay? No. Select maybe the 2 or 3 people with date of birth today and replace for 2 or 3 people.
Right.
So you optimize the code. You optimize you small piece. So we go back with what I was saying. Everything must be light.
Right.
So now that we talk about the schema, okay, we can stay all day long talking about the schema and how to optimize it, but the layout is important because the layout is the navigation, is what the people will do on the surface, where they will click, where they will edit the field and stuff like that. So, and you notice that on the web in general, you don't have crazy layouts. You don't have. You have a layout simple and well organized, because you need to narrow down you need to make sure that you are displaying all and only all what the user needs.
Yeah, we talk about that in the layout optimization. We talk about removing the objects you don't need. Exactly. Because if you don't have to send them down through the network.
Exactly. It's very important.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you have to remove it from the layout. It can be hidden in a different slide or different tab, and so I'm going to show that in the demo, that you can have a lot of things exposed, but you don't show them. So when WebDirect is very smart, I'm saying that WebDirect is it's a jewelry, it's a jewel of software, because it's very, very smart, and it's loading exactly what it needs to load. So you can have a bunch of objects, a bunch of fields, and a bunch of polls on one layout, but if you don't show it, if it's not there, it won't be called by WebDirect engine.
Okay.
So that is very important, because we don't like, WebDirect doesn't like going to one layout to another. This is where you have you have the feeling of it slack, because it's you need to dump what you have, and then you reload everything. So it's pretty much like when you click the reload on the web page, it reload everything, right? When you load apple.com, it's not boom, it's reloading, it's coming, right? It's not boom like that, right? So WebDirect the same thing. So you don't want the people to leave the layout.
So that's a tricky one, right? So it's not one that I've heard. So it's, once again, glad I'm here in the video. I'm learning along with everyone else. So obviously there'd be times you'll want to go to a different layout, that you'll need to. But if you can avoid doing that, then there's benefit to not leaving the layout.
That's a benefit. If you have to leave the layout, you need to make it when it's very necessary.
Right.
If it's not, use the relationship instead. You can use the relationship and pretty much deal with the objects through a relationship. There's no problem.
Right. You don't want to go too deep, but
you don't need to go too deep. That's a way we can, using globals, where if you want to load, for example, let's say you have invoice, for example, you have the contact and you have the invoice ID.
Right.
And you have the invoice itself. So if you want to change something on the contact, just you click on the contact tab, and you have the ID of the contact on your invoice, so you show the contact and you can edit, right? And for the item, the same thing. If you want to edit something from the invoice that you don't have the link between, you have a global field. You ask FileMaker to grab the ID of what you need, and you paste there. And you set the field there, and then you have the relationship built for you just with the global, and then you can access this temporarily, can access this table, this entity, without leaving the layout.
What about if you're running a script and your script is going to go to a different layout and do some work and come back?
You can do that.
And if you freeze the window?
No, you don't need to freeze the window. It won't reload the window anyway. If it's not
with WebDirect.
With WebDirect, you use a new window, because FileMaker is very important for that. FileMaker WebDirect use what we call virtual windows.
Right.
So pretty much when you create a new window, you pile the window on top of.
So there's a physical window of your browser.
Yes. But you don't see it as a tab. It's on top of the current one.
Okay.
So you create new window. Don't say go to layout. Blah, 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 blah. Very important. Very important. You don't say go to layout and go back to the original. This is you go to layout. You said it. You go to layout. No. You create a new window.
Yep.
Okay. You go to, maybe you can go to a very light layout, like a table view, something like that, right? So you do your stuff, and then you close the window.
Right.
But you never left
Right, visually.
the original.
And we use that with Pro. Frankly, what we'll do is to make sure we don't have a problem, we'll open the window.
You open it off screen.
Off the
Okay.
screen, right?
But
We talked about that.
WebDirect smart enough. You can put a freeze if you know that what you want to do will take some time, because at one point it will reload.
Okay.
Okay. So if you do like new window, do this, bang, if it's less than 1 second, you won't see it.
Okay.
If not, you can do a freeze window and say new window and do the thing and come back, right?
Well, that's a good technique to know.
This is a very good
because it goes back to the fact that with WebDirect we don't control the size or really the position of the window, because that's a browser controlled item.
Yes.
Unlike Pro, and really, Go's kind of weird anyway, because Go is another one of those a single document interface, right?
Yes.
So someone came to me the other day and said, "Hey, our resize window command isn't working," and I go, "Well, what are you using?" "Oh, well, WebDirect." I go, "Well, that's why, because you can't." So if you want to pop another window, it's a virtual window. Yes. It's inside the actual physical window of the browser.
It's inside. It's on top. It's on top of the window you are now, but inside the same tab.
Yeah. So you can't really even see it.
No. So you create a layout going related to the table you need.
Yep.
Okay. Or the occurrence you need. Then in this layout, there's nothing. There's nothing.
Right.
Just a nice sticker saying processing, please wait. That's it. So you have the window processing whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And then you close it.
Okay.
So they will see something. They'll say, "Oh, you work for me." So you work for me. Okay, I'm processing. You tell the guy, you tell the user that you're processing.
Right.
And then you close. So it's not like, "Oh, what is doing?"
Things are flashing
all the way around and stuff. So I'm using a lot of this technique when with card start window. It looks like a kind of a warning, a nice progress indicator.
Yeah.
But we don't have card start window on WebDirect yet. Yeah. So this is a good technique as well. That's another good thing to know about new window on WebDirect is when you create a window on top, you can create multiple windows. You can close it, but also the back button of your browser will work. The back button of your browser, the back button, will close the window and go back to the previous one. Arriving to the last one, and then you go. If you do again, you go back to the.
It'll make you log in. Most time I hit it. Most time when we design, we keep you in one window, right? I don't stack the windows up. Yeah, we hit the back button, like in starting point, it'll log you out. Yeah.
Yes, because we don't do new window. Actually, I'm using a lot of those things with WebDirect. I'm loading a new window. Let's say you're in the invoice, for example. You want to edit the contact, so you say, okay, edit contact, new window on WebDirect, new window. I'm still on the contact here. New window. I'm editing my stuff, and when I say okay, done, I go back to my invoice. Right. I never left the invoice, so you don't have the reload process, and that makes the server like, I'm not doing anything. I did it. I'm good. I don't have to reprocess this.
Then actually, if you could extend that thought, because I can already read the minds of some of you people out there. I can already hear what they're thinking, that they could actually have a contacts and an accounts and an invoice. They're all separate windows, and they're all there all the time, and it just jumps you.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a development I made with WebDirect when I was working still at FileMaker, and I wanted to prove the concept. Okay, so I created I was opening all the entity I need, like let's say like you said, account, contact, invoices and stuff. I load them in a new window, and then I go back. So they are loaded, they are there. So I'm not, and I'm going to one to another like that, and so it's the design of in general where you're like, just don't put a lot of things there. Okay. If you put a button, don't put the hover state and forget about this. As I said, little bites of things make a big, huge difference. Okay, so look, for example, the website of today. They are flat, white on the background, and little a line separating the rows. That's it. You don't have a lot of ornament everywhere, right? So you use accent colors wisely and stuff like that.
The design and the starting point.
But design starting point, or what I'm going to show, which is more elaborated.
Okay. Well, with that, Nick keeps talking about this awesome demo he's waiting to show us. So we're going to let him do that. We're going to pick it up and switch over to the laptop here, and we'll see you in the next video.